The wave of interest in every move Lewis Hamilton makes at Scuderia Ferrari shows no signs of stopping. After last week's public frenzy, the Maranello team moved everything to Barcelona, organizing tests at the Circuit de Catalunya that were supposed to be more private, but ultimately were not. This is understandable in an era where anyone with a smartphone can become a reporter. But owning a device does not make someone a professional. This video aims to address that dynamic. A very brief step back. On Wednesday at Montmeló, Lewis Hamilton crashed into the wall. The causes of the incident are unknown, as no detailed report has been released, and there are no certainties about how it happened. A journalistic acknowledgement goes to those who promptly reported the news, namely, Franco Nugnes, the editor-in-chief of Motorsport Italy. And don't be surprised by the full mention. There are still those in this industry who are driven by ethical integrity. This is the fact from which the reasoning flows. What happened immediately afterward? Given the private nature of the test, and considering that no one could claim to be on site while being many kilometers away, the news was taken, and additional details were added. Details entirely based on personal reconstructions with no factual basis whatsoever. Some claimed the car was completely destroyed. Others emphasized that the driver walked away on his own, hinting at a major crash. Some blamed the track, suggesting an uneven surface was fatal for the 7-time Formula One world champion. Others, true to their nature and mission, felt the need to find technical reasons behind something entirely normal at this stage of the season. Few pointed to a driver error, something understandable when pushing the limits on an unrubbered track with an unfamiliar and temperamental car, equipped with Brembo discs that do not respond the same way as the carbon industry's ones Lewis Hamilton is used to after years with Mercedes. In the following hours, the usual self-sustaining mechanism kicked in, remote presentialism. The absent party who, at all costs, must prove themselves a witness to the facts, even without directly implying their presence, adding unnecessary details to claim ownership of a news item and repackage it for an eager audience. This leads to reconstructions, analyses, conjectures, and those typical narrative patterns centered around whispers and hearsay. Those insider sources coming from a friend of a friend who supposedly shared insights that, in reality, remain within the well-insulated walls of the motorhomes. But wouldn't it be more ethically sound and professionally dignified to simply report the facts without the obsessive need to add an exclusive detail that is not actually exclusive? Journalism is not just about scoops, it is also about narrating events plainly, without embellishments or convenient storytelling. An impersonal account or record of facts in chronological order, conceptually distinct from history as it lacks any interpretative criteria. This is the definition of reporting, which many should revisit and occasionally apply. Some may argue, ours are analyses. That's fine as long as they are supported by concrete elements, not mere feelings or meta-narratives meant solely to cater to an audience. In short, Lewis Hamilton's crash, which cost Charles Leclerc his afternoon testing session, has once again highlighted that those practicing journalism should learn not to stray from its most basic ethical principles. If the press is often accused of lacking professionalism today, it is precisely because of attitudes like this. On the other hand, it's understandable that some are fed up with those who write, "We have details, but we cannot publish them." Yes, because in the recent circus we've even seen this. A bit like that old cliché, "I'm leaving you because I love you too much." Perhaps the only thing some truly love is the engagement that generates profit. What is clear is that the crash led to the session being halted and track personnel intervening to recover the car and return it to the Ferrari garage. The mechanics faced a lengthy repair process, and after an initial assessment of the damage, they spent many hours restoring the SF-23, only completing the work late in the afternoon. This made it impossible for Charles Leclerc to carry out his scheduled running in the afternoon after the British driver. Despite this setback, the Maranello team did everything possible to avoid altering the plans for the final test day, with Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc leaving the Catalan circuit, hoping to make up for the lost mileage. Additionally, the trackside staff, led by Deputy Team Principal Jerome D'Ambrosio, has been evaluating ways to recover the lost mileage before pre-season testing begins in Bahrain. As a result, next week Ferrari is expected to field 2 cars on track, the SF-24 in mule car configuration for Pirelli's 2026 tire development tests, and the SF-23 to allow the race drivers to continue their testing session. Moving forward and leaving behind the way a large part of the media reported the incident, It is also worth pointing out that Lewis Hamilton's initial feedback after testing the Ferrari seems to be showing positive signs. According to various trusted Italian media outlets, the British driver is reportedly satisfied with what he has experienced on track so far. His feedback from the Ferrari tests at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona and the Fiorano track in Italy focuses mainly on the differences compared to Mercedes. The Maranello team's track activity schedule is becoming increasingly packed. After a few laps at the Fiorano circuit last week, the Barcelona circuit was booked for a private 3-day session with the 2023 F1 car. Next week, on February 4th and 5, Pirelli's 2026 tires will be tested at the same Catalan circuit. This time, the car from the just-concluded season will be used. The most important event in this program will take place at the end of the month. From February 26th to 28th, the pre-season tests in Bahrain will take place. This will mark the official debut of the 2025 car and the true beginning of Lewis Hamilton's experience with Ferrari. After the first day of testing, Lewis Hamilton has already provided positive feedback on the Ferrari he drove. Under scrutiny were the braking system, the engine's power delivery, and the modified pedals following his laps at Fiorano. According to the Italian media, his sensations align with his driving characteristics and should improve the car's handling. Regarding the fully Brembo braking system, the main difference from Mercedes lay in the brake discs. The German team used Carbon Industries discs, while relying only on Brembo's pads and calipers. The British driver appeared very comfortable with the new system, which seems better suited to his driving style. Lewis Hamilton has never had a particularly strong feeling with ground effect cars. Their length and lack of agility have altered how braking and cornering are approached. Ferrari, especially with Charles Leclerc, has often been the team that breaks the latest compared to others. This characteristic could also benefit Hamilton, who was unable to do the same at Mercedes. The second key observation concerns the power unit and its power delivery. The difference from Mercedes is substantial. The MGU-H, positioned centrally relative to the V-shaped engine block, delivered power in a different way and shifted the car's center of gravity. At the moment, Ferrari enjoys a driver pairing that is not only extremely competitive, but also features a much more similar driving style. The shared characteristics between Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc and how they use the car could facilitate development, allowing the team to shape the car's philosophy around their preferences and push in the same direction. With less than a month to go until the presentation, and after unveiling the racing suits of Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, Ferrari has now revealed the name of the car that will take part in the 2025 F1 Championship. There are no surprises regarding the designation that will accompany the two Ferrari drivers in a season that fans hope will end the title drought that has lasted since 2008. All the conditions for success are in place. The driver lineup is top tier, as are the recent technical additions to Maranello in recent months. The hope is that the prancing horse's latest creation can build on the strong foundation laid by the SF24, which came close to securing the Constructors' Championship in Abu Dhabi.